Okay, folks, a very decisive moment in the markets right now. Have Bitcoin and the rest of the market rallied too much? Are we due for a big pullback? How big would this pullback be? Now remember, the big signal, one of the big signals that we got, well, there were a number of them. There was gold rallying up. There was also stocks like MicroStrategy making a higher bottom, right? All of these gave us a signal that we were going to head higher. So this is what I'm talking about. We better be paying attention to this because it could give us another early signal. So it was like on the April, look at the channel. This is what I'm talking about on MicroStrategy. You think if this is the biggest buyer of Bitcoin out there in the world, it's bigger than the BlackRock ETFs. If there's one thing in the world that's going to give us a signal, it could be MicroStrategy. And remember on this date, this was April the 8th. Basically, I was saying to folks, look, one day after Bitcoin bottomed, we had a higher bottom in here. I made an episode about this. That means we're going up. And then when Bitcoin got stuck, right, at that 92K level, I said, does MicroStrategy break this level? If it breaks this level, then we're going higher, right? And now we're at almost punching 98 now. 97K, 96.8 was my call back then. And look how well MicroStrategy has been a guide to all of us. And you know what? In fact, now there is a new competitor to MicroStrategy. And you might think, oh yeah, who cares? Nobody can compete with MicroStrategy. But check out the team that is behind this one. Check out this team. Like you've basically got everybody. Like that is a massive team. Where's that Cantor Fitzgerald? The Cantor Fitzgerald guys hold basically something like I think they're the majority holders of this CEP stock that's competing now with MicroStrategy, and it's founded by the Howard Lutnick. That's the Commerce Secretary of the United States right now. That's like Trump's left-hand man. If his right-hand man's Elon Musk, then that's Trump's left-hand man. So MicroStrategy versus Coinbase versus the CEP stock, these are all stocks that can tell us about where Bitcoin's going to go next and what important signals are they going to give us. Okay, this is a big episode. Before we go on, let's answer the question first of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimenez use? Well, Pablo used this exchange that is non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means basically they can't even see who you are. They can't even see that you're American. So of course Americans can use it. That means the IRS can't see you. The FBI can't see you. The tax office can't see you. CIA, nobody can see you. Total privacy. That's why Pablo has made this deal with them just by depositing and joining up to $200 of rewards and prizes, and then just by trading up to $35,000 of prizes, right? Even Tesla Model 3, Rolex, Sony PlayStation, all of that, and remember, for a limited time only. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. This is the Pablo deal only. Link is in the description below. But if you're watching on a different platform, such as this one, then basically just go to my profile page and it's the Understand link. It should be the first link that pops up right there. And okay, yeah, because this is a very good deal to get into. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks, and keep in mind only on the Pablo link. So with MicroStrategy, the important thing to keep in mind was that I called back in early April that we were in this massive channel and that it was important for MicroStrategy to regain this channel. So by like the April 9th or so, it had regained that channel. I said, look, there's a very good chance we're going to bounce from here. And that's going to mean that basically Bitcoin should be safe at from 73K without going lower. Because MicroStrategy, the largest buyer of Bitcoin, is now basically bouncing higher. And then this was the serious test. I'm on the weekly chart now. This was serious test at 345. We've beaten that. Next couple of levels, 400, and this 436 level. Eventually, where does it go? Well, if we want Bitcoin to break into a new all-time high, we better see MicroStrategy break into a new all-time high first, right? If MicroStrategy can get to like roughly 600 something, right? Its all-time high was 520 something. If MicroStrategy can get into 600 something, then Bitcoin is going to have a big run to like 140K, 150K, could be even higher, something like that. What are the probabilities? What are the probabilities of MicroStrategy having a big run like that, right? Does Bitcoin move first or does MicroStrategy move first? Well, surprisingly, sometimes MicroStrategy actually moves first and gives us an early signal that I've told you guys about 3 weeks ago that Bitcoin probably bottomed at 73K. Sorry, my call 73K, Bitcoin bottomed at 74K, and up we went. So now, one thing to keep in mind is this. MicroStrategy actually outperforms Bitcoin. Before I get to show you guys, I just want to ask you and answer in your head right now. Do you think MicroStrategy stock price can outperform Bitcoin? Does it answer right now? Just to your screen, to your phone? Yes or no? Does it outperform Bitcoin or not? If you answered yes, then you're correct. And now I ask you, in this bull run or in any bull run, if MicroStrategy outperforms Bitcoin, how much does it outperform Bitcoin? Does MicroStrategy price outperform Bitcoin by 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, or even 2x? What's the answer? The answer is MicroStrategy outperforms Bitcoin by something like 5.5x. So you just divide MicroStrategy by Bitcoin. And look at the ratios we get. So if we do this division here, during the low in the bear market in 2022, what's the ratio? The ratio here is something like, look, is 0.005, 3 zeros. What's the high here? 0.0057, 2 zeros. So it's 10x, more than 10x. This MicroStrategy outperformed Bitcoin by more than 10x. And they're pretty much bottom and top almost at the same time. Like you're comparing literally the largest buyer of Bitcoin to Bitcoin itself. So, okay, so basically, how is it that MicroStrategy outperform Bitcoin by 10x? By 10x. And now, the great news is that for all Bitcoin holders and crypto holders, now there's a competing company that's doing the same thing. It's a very powerful company, and it's doing the same thing, competing with MicroStrategy to buy more Bitcoins now. That this CEP is basically made up of 3 companies mainly. Tether, we all know, they manage $150 billion in assets, USDT. SoftBank manages also something like 500 billion or $1 trillion in assets. It goes up and down it's like a yo-yo. So it's pretty much the largest technology VC in the world. And Cantor Fitzgerald. So Cantor Fitzgerald is basically the company that's founded or co-founded by Lutnick. Lutnick is this guy who is now the Secretary of Commerce for Donald Trump. He's a multi-billionaire himself. So 3 very powerful companies, right, including True Blood, Blue Blood from the Trump dynasty, from the Trump administration, now all forming this company that is using the same strategy as MicroStrategy just to put more Bitcoins. So what is their strategy? Let me show you guys. This is their strategy. So basically the way they do it is, the way MicroStrategy does it is it issues more shares, and then that way it turns into some sort of you could call it a Bitcoin treasury or a Bitcoin ETF, something like that. But you can't redeem your shares, MicroStrategy shares for Bitcoin, but you catch the exposure for growth. And usually what happens is when you issue more shares, then basically the shares crash. But not in this case, because they use those shares to buy Bitcoin, right? And when they buy Bitcoin, basically the company holds more Bitcoin. So in the end, for every share of MSTR, you hold more Bitcoin. So when this ratio goes up, say for example, for every MicroStrategy share, $500 you hold right now, you're holding like 0.001 Bitcoin, but then that doubles to for every share you're holding 0.002 Bitcoin, then MicroStrategy shares become more valuable. So they figure out this so-called magical system where the more shares you issue, the more your stocks actually go up, provided that you're buying this Bitcoin. And provided, my big warning to everyone who like MicroStrategy shares is that be careful, because this is a self-reinforcing cycle, or a flywheel. People call it a flywheel. It only works when everything's going up, right? When Bitcoin's going up, so if the more Bitcoin you hold per MicroStrategy share, the more the value goes up. But on the way down, when it goes into reverse, then it goes the other way. So basically, look, when Bitcoin goes down in value, like if we're in the bear market, it goes down another 50%, conservatively 60, 70%, then basically MicroStrategy shares go down, and probably more than Bitcoin as well. So that's the danger when it comes to something like that. But the good news is, guys, as I just told you guys, that a company now called CEP, Cantor Equity Partners, and they are forming this company with $3.6 billion to be invested from Tether, from SoftBank, from Cantor, to be buying Bitcoin. And now you have a lot of copycats in the world as well, such as that Japanese one called MetaPlanet. It's going to attract more copycats, and it's also a sign of the top of the market coming. So you know how you're looking for topping signals? I'm not saying the market will top right now. I do think Bitcoin has one more big leg up. When I don't know what the final number is going to be, but once we break 112K, 115, 120K, goes for another leg up. I think that's going to happen. Once it gets there, basically, I'm going to be watching out for a lot of these topping signals. Like one topping signal, for example, is this. Have a look at this. This is the company, CEP, Cantor Fitzgerald, right? The one I was talking about. And they're now becoming another MicroStrategy. They were floating around this $10, $11 area. And then as soon as they announced, this is the weekly chart, went straight to boom, almost $60. So it's like a 5.5x move just in basically what, like 5 days, 3 days, as soon as the news was announced. So, and these are not jokers we're talking about, like, because MicroStrategy's founder, Michael Saylor, he's known as a bit of a joke in Silicon Valley. His stock literally crashed like 99.8%. MicroStrategy was the biggest loser. It was called the biggest loser of the dot-com bubble. It went down the most, and so he wasn't taken very seriously. But now you have more serious players. Tether, $150 billion. SoftBank, very respected. Howard Lutnick is, Trump's left-hand man right now in the trade negotiation. So these are powerful Trump dynasty, Wall Street, and Japanese VC players coming in, and that could attract more players, more copycats of this MicroStrategy model of selling shares to buy Bitcoin. As long as you get that ratio of Bitcoin over MSTR, like I showed you guys, as long as you get that number up. So that's a model that I think will propel Bitcoin to new highs. But in a few months, I think we top probably something like September to November of this year. We get that top in Bitcoin. We probably have some sort of small or even a big altcoin season run between now and then big bear market comes, and we saw that MicroStrategy outperformed Bitcoin by 10x on the way up. It's going to outperform Bitcoin on the way down as well. Okay, so it's these sort of strategies are flywheels, and it's great on the way up, but very dangerous on the way down. Okay, so thank you for your time, guys. I'll catch you next episode. Catch you then.